You're watching College Football Village with Andrew Anderson, presented by Bones Coffee. Get your Bones Coffee at www.bonescoffee.com.
Everyone, welcome to College Sports Billing Season 2, Episode 15. We got a lot going on today. I see James ain't late today. Thank you, James. Thank you for being here. It's going to be a great show. I'm really excited, a lot to talk about. There was a certain national championship that was won just recently. We had Wrestlemania this weekend, Major League Baseball. The Braves lost a series to the Mets. But here we go. Everybody, I want to welcome the co-hosts. First, we're going to welcome Vandy Chris. How are we doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Just sitting here, chilling like, Aaron Rodgers, believing that presidents have body doubles and, just waiting for the news on who's going to drop into the portal today in women's college basketball that's going to upset the apple cart.
I'm ready too. We need to stay away from those mushrooms that Aaron Rodgers has been eating here lately. That's a fact.
He's
our
off
next,
in
he has a good one. Our next co-host comes live from the same house. Emily, how we doing?
Doing great. Ready for the show.
Me too. I'm so ready. It's going to be a fantastic show. Might be a little love fest here. I don't know. We'll get into that in a little while. And our last, well, not our last, because one I'm not here yet, but the last one that's here right now, co-host, but certainly not the least. He has his spicy picks. So let's wait and see what he's got for us today. Mac, how we doing?
What's going on? Glad to be here, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's been a bit, man. Listen, I got home probably about 25, 30 minutes ago. Like, it was bad. I had to drive all the way up to Towson, pick something up, and then drive home. And it was just like, it's already, been bad, but that just made it even worse. But I'm happy I made it here on time. So that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. We don't have your parlays today, but we're still going to do Max Spicy Picks. So we'll still have that segment. You can just read off to us what you've got planned for the day. And in honor of Mac, I saw a stat yesterday that UConn covered the spread in last year's tournament and this year's tournament and a few games from the tournament before that. Like, that is incredible. Incredible. They have covered the spread in every game in their back-to-back national champions. Did you know that?
No, I didn't, but
me either. So I'm excited.
And Kentucky fans think they're going to hire their coach. Come on, man.
Hey, look, Kentucky done got turned down by 3 people already, and maybe 4.
Well, if you think about it, Brad Stevens and Jay Wright ain't coming back to coach college ball.
Nope, they're not.
Nate Oates said, "Don't even call me."
Yep.
Dan Hurley said, "Don't even call me."
Yep.
Scott Drew said, "Yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
We could do this without you."
And apparently, Chris Jans, Mississippi State is, he disappeared quick today. Now they're on Mark Pope. That's number 7.
7. Did you hear the other name that they allegedly contacted today for my Clemson fans out there? Brad Brownell was allegedly contacted by Kentucky, Clemson's head coach. They made a good run to the Elite 8. I'm sure that's why they're thinking about that. But Brad Brownell would have been fired this year had he not had that run. He's been there a long time. He hadn't really done much. They had already wanted his head. Now they love him. If you go to the Clemson pages, Brad Brownell is the greatest thing ever. But if you watched it all year long, they wanted him gone. Get him out of here. Like, it was great. So we're gonna go into a few things today, but before we start anything, I have a video that I want to share with everybody. So everybody who's watching here, everybody who's like me, enjoy. That is your 2024 Gamecocks finishing the story. Complete. That is the image, the video of the day. Look at Darth Staley out there. That's the goat. Y'all just don't even know. Look at that. This was a fantastic moment for me to watch the GOAT, Dawn Staley, win another national championship. She would have 4. Because if you remember, Chris probably remembers, Mac, you said you're new and Emma, you're new.
Who's that?
I don't know. I don't know what it was. Anyway, so I mean, in 2020, South Carolina had, before the season was called for COVID, South Carolina had played 7 of the top 10 teams in the top 10 that year and beat them all by 20 that year. That would have been title number 4. I have no idea where that feedback's coming from. Let's see. Kentucky's only been turned down by Hurley. I mean, he's happy in UConn. And Drew, his faith card in Baylor. Next up's probably Billy Donovan. And anything until is just rumor, mill bull. Well, Billy Donovan ain't coming. That's not going to happen. So I guess it was Mac. No, it's still there. I don't know what that is. Sorry about that. We'll figure that out. All right. Well, welcome back.
I don't know. I don't hear any feedback.
It's just a little like noise or something. I don't hear it now. Mac's muted, so
he's unmuted.
While we wait,
I just unmuted it just to. I didn't know if it was me, so I was going through my settings to make sure I had all my noise cancellation stuff on. And I was
you
like,
heard it too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because Chris had me thinking it was all me over here. He's like, I don't hear nothing. I'm like,
I ain't heard nothing. And it could have been when I took my headphones off and dropped my mic. It could have been something with that. Heck, I don't know.
Sounds about right.
It happens. But yes, we will see what happens with.
Billy Donovan's not happening. I agree with you. He done an interview, I guess it was Tuesday night or Wednesday night, saying that his focus is on Chicago, getting home playoff game. He's not been contacted by anybody by Kentucky. And look, Billy Donovan hadn't coached the college game in 10 years, which is a long time before NIL and transfer portal. It's a different game now. Billy Donovan is not coming to Kentucky.
While I do agree with Rating the Air podcast here, he may feel pressure to find a new job. So if he does go to Kentucky, he was very successful at Florida, no doubt about that. But the game is completely changed. Look at Coach Cal. I mean, he can't win. That's the reason Coach K retired. That's the reason that Nick Saban retired. That's the reason that old boy at North Carolina retired. The game is not the same. It doesn't matter how well you can recruit now. It matters how much money you can put in their pocket. Billy Donovan, coach X's and O's, absolutely he can. But without the people, and I'm sure Kentucky has a good nil deal, but I don't know. I think Billy Donovan's happy where he's at. So I want to go ahead and address this. I really don't want any negativity. I really just want to say goodbye to OJ Simpson. Fantastic player for USC, fantastic player for the Bills. Everything else aside is for a political show or a news show, and this ain't it. So we're just going to say goodbye to OJ respectfully like that. So that's how I want to do it here. So with that being said,
Juice.
Yes, the juice. He is one of the best running backs to ever do it. No, I mean, you can say what you want about the guy personally. It's kind of like the Chris Benoit. Like, you can say whatever you want about the guy personally, but OJ Simpson was a problem on the football field. He was a whole problem.
Listen, all I'm saying is like there's a handful of guys that you could really go back in the 60s and the 70s and you could transplant them in today's game and they would be just as dynamic, if not more. And he's one of them.
All I know is if he's trying to catch a plane, you better look out because he's jumping over you, he's running through you, he's getting around you somehow to get to his plane.
Correct. I'm telling you right now, Airplane is one of my favorite movies ever. I don't know if anybody else caught that, but I certainly did.
Well, his commercials running through the airport were, that beats any commercial any current running back has ever done.
So, I want to go ahead and say this because I agree with Mac 100%. If we put O.J. Simpson on a current team, like say the Ravens or the Chiefs or, a team like that, they instantly become Super Bowl favorites because that guy could do the thing. And he could do it right now, too. I 100% agree. So with that being said, we're going to move on because I want this to stay as a tribute. Right. We are going to wait for the other member of our crew to get here before we discuss Wrestlemania or anything like that, obviously, because he will be very, very upset if he misses that segment. So let's address this because he don't know too much about it. Really, just me and Chris. This is a huge loss for women's basketball. This is the all-time winningest coach, no matter what level of NCAA, men's or women's. She will be passed next year, but right now she has the most wins, men or women. So she, Tara was just one of the all-time greats. She was the innovator in the game. She changed the game. Her and Pat, they really changed the game. They come in. That's when the eyes really started getting on the sport. With her and Pat started getting on that. We only hear about it now because the money's coming in. But when Tennessee was really good, Stanford was really good back then, that's when the eyes were really on women's basketball. And this lady here in front of you, had a huge part in that. Would you agree, Chris?
Most definitely had a huge part in it.
I have no clue what her name is, but I recognize her face. And that's enough.
When you think about women's college basketball today, you have to stop and think about the Pat Summitt, Tara Vanderveer, Jody Conrad, Andy Landers, the Vivian Stringers, the ones that laid the foundation for people like Shay Ralph and Kim Caldwell and Kara Lawson and
Gino
to go to South Carolina and Gino, for all of those to do what they're doing today. Tara was one of the ones that laid the foundation for those.
Absolutely.
So, huge loss.
It really is.
For women's college basketball.
Yeah. It's a huge loss for college basketball in general. Now that the eyes are on the women's sports too, and people are kind of seeing what's going on because the women's outdid the men's because the matchup was just much more attractive. Like nobody really wanted to see Connecticut play Zach Edey, believe it or not, but everybody wanted to see Caitlin Clark against the Fab Five, right? The story was better. The marketing was better. The play was better because UConn just beat down Purdue. We knew it was going to happen. I mean, like outside of Edey, Purdue didn't do shit. And you know what? I'm pretty sure Chris said that last week on this show that like Purdue is going to have Edey and nothing else, and that's why they can't win. And that's exactly how it went down. Exactly. Edey 8, he had 33, I think, but nobody else had over 8. Wasn't that right, Chris?
That's right. UConn just ran them boys in the dirt. Zach Edey got his, but everybody else was just outclassed. It wasn't even close.
100%. Like it. You watched the game, didn't you, Mac? The UConn game?
Yeah, I watched most of it.
You had money on it. What are you talking about?
It was an easy.
I think the second half is when I turned it off. Because there was no point. Like, nobody else on the team, they wouldn't shoot a 3-pointer. They wouldn't do nothing. They kept driving in and then passing back out and then passing to Edey. Like, you passed the ball 3 times, but fuck, man, take a 3-pointer. You're trying to win this game. They're like, no, we're just trying to get Zach Edey points.
Yep.
Is he playing for the draft? Is he in the draft this year? Like what was the reasoning behind this? Like I get you're trying to feed your best player, but at some point, like there's somebody else has got to take a shot. That was fucking pitiful.
It was pitiful. Really, the UConn Alabama game was a lot better than the UConn Purdue game, and just because it's a game of matchups, you have to outscore UConn, and Alabama can score, which is why it made it pretty interesting until the last 3 minutes. But Purdue cannot score outside of Zach Edey. It was a beatdown, y'all. I ain't trying to laugh, but I mean, it was a poor national championship game. Purdue made it. I'm happy for them just because James was just on their nuts about Fairleigh Dickinson all year long on this show. So he really was. And in honor of James Fender, I'm going to say something here. I want to transition a little bit to college baseball. I got to tell you, James, your Florida State squad is dangerous. They are looking really, really dangerous right now. If they were they host a super regional, they probably will. They sneak into that College World Series, man. I wouldn't bet against them. Not if they're playing at the level they are right now. The season sweep of Florida, that had to feel sweet.
I mean, part of that is, they looked really good on Tuesday night because of who they were playing, which is a 17-16 Florida team that just got swept by Missouri.
Still a major college team, though. I mean, they didn't lose 8-0 to Georgia Southern like South Carolina. Fire Mark Kingston, but they're good. My point is they're good. They are.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, South Carolina Upstate's pretty good too.
Yeah, when they took out Clemson. Hey, look, losing to a Sun Belt team is better than losing to South Carolina Upstate, right? Because and maybe Chris, but I doubt it. But if any of you, because I know, but if any of you could tell me their mascot right now without looking it up.
I couldn't even do it, and I covered the game.
They are the Spartans. And I know that because they're like an hour from me. Hour and a half up in Spartanburg. I wouldn't know. Who the hell cares about SC Upstate? What's going on, George? Thank you for watching.
George don't care about SC Upstate. His team's college baseball.
So we all know. Let's go ahead and talk about that real quick. Let's go ahead and talk about this before we go to our first break. What about Coach Cal giving the middle finger to Kentucky and said, "See ya, I'm going to Arkansas." Man, George, I know George was hype about that, but when you leave Kentucky to go to Arkansas, they pushed you too far up there. They were not grateful. I think Coach Cal felt. And Arkansas came with the money. He's like, "Hey, will you match it?" Kentucky said no. He said, "Okay, fuck you. I'm out." And then he went to Arkansas. And that's exactly how it went down.
But here's the problem. He took a pay cut.
I didn't know, James. He did. Not a big one, but he did.
So there wasn't nothing for Kentucky to match. He said, "This is what it's going to take to keep me." And the only thing it was NIL.
Yep, that was it.
That's the only difference.
Money. He had a lifetime contract at Kentucky. So it wasn't about that. It was about nil money. And Kentucky basketball said no. That tells you the commitment that they have there.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it's from the boosters, though. They weren't willing to provide any more money for them to do NIL stuff because they were tired of it.
Correct. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. When the boosters want you gone, they have the money, which means they have the power. And that's exactly how it goes down. And they're like, "You're not getting no more money until you do that." But I guarantee you they're going to be donating a lot now. You could see it.
I just want to know how Arkansas fans feel hearing this guy talking about Kentucky, the way he talks about Kentucky, knowing that he's your head coach.
Right. He is. he's blocked me and the boosters from doing deal with players. I know anything about that. That doesn't make sense if he wanted nil money though, and unless like they were doing something dirty and he wanted to keep it clean. But like when I think Coach Cal, I don't think clean program.
No.
Like that's not something that comes to mind. So I doubt that's it. Well, it's a dumpster fire right now. They still have no coach. They do
And
not.
Arkansas, and Arkansas still ain't got no team.
No. Yeah, I mean, well, Coach Cal said that when they asked him about the team, he said there is no team. But he's honest.
They literally have 3 players on the roster, and all 3 of those players are in the portal.
Yep, just like Louisville. Every scholarship player at Louisville's in the portal right now. Every single one, which means they have to start completely from scratch. Anyway, you're watching College Sports Villains only on the Dog Media Network. We're going to go to a 55-second commercial to pay some bills, so stay right there.
Icy Breeze is the world's first portable air conditioner and cooler. A premium ice cooler that doubles as an eco-friendly portable air conditioner. This is not a swamp cooler, just blowing air across ice. Over 60 parts and components allow Icy Breeze to achieve what no other product in the world can do. The secret behind the Icy Breeze is an innovative design that circulates chilled ice water through a heat exchanger in the lid, replacing the Freon used in most ACs. Fresh air is drawn from hidden vents in the top of the cooler, pulled across the exchanger, and chilled down to 35 degrees cooler than the outside air. A 3-speed fan control delivers Icy Breeze's dry, cold air up to 25 miles per hour, just like a car AC. And a stay-put flex hose directs the breeze in any direction. Wherever you need it, Icy Breeze helps you beat the heat.
Welcome back. You're watching College Sports Villains only on the Dog Media Network. Let's see what George says. That will change when the dead period ends. Kentucky has no team either. That may change, but right now it is what it is, right? But Coach Cal has a very big name. I don't think it'll be long before he gets some players up there. I agree with George on that. Thank you, James. Thank you for not leaving, and you're always welcome to comment or not. This is we love having you here. All right, so let's see what Rating the Air podcast said. It's a dumpster fire from outside because 24-hour speculation. Barnhart has done his interview thing. Now he's making his way through the candidates. Could be. I'm really interested. This is one of the most fun times of year because I cannot wait to see who Kentucky's coach is going to be. It's going to be fun all the way down. If you had to speculate right now, Emily, Matt, Chris, who do you think is going to go to Kentucky?
I wouldn't have a clue. I wouldn't have a clue. Look, hire an ex-player. That's, you know what I mean? That's.
But wait a minute. Kentucky fans said we can have any coach we want.
Yeah, they literally said that.
Literally said that.
And
it's not true.
We know it's not Dan Hurley because he actually said in his post-game press conference, they asked him about Kentucky after the national championship, and he said, "There's no way I'm not moving my wife farther away from New Jersey than what she already is." So Dan Hurley's out. Nate Oates said, "I'm committed to Alabama. I'm happy here. Don't even call me."
Yep.
Jay Wright's not coming out of retirement to coach in the NIL transfer portal era. Brad Stevens isn't coming out to coach college basketball in the portal NIL era. It's just not going to happen. So, where do you go? Chris Jans at Mississippi State. That's who's being talked about now. Mark Pope from BYU. Well, I don't know. But if you give me just a
Chris.
minute,
Here's the answer.
I actually think I have some breaking news coming. If you give me just a second, I got to pull it up real quick.
So while he's pulling that up, Emily, what do you think of the chances that they go after Brad Brunell at Clemson? This is our local team. I want to talk about it a little bit. Do you think that they make that move?
I mean, they might.
I mean, an Elite Eight run is pretty impressive for a team that's been down for a few years, even though he was the coach of the down team. But the ACC is not easy to play in either. I will give him that. I'm sure you would agree with that, Chris, 100%. So that's pretty good. While we wait on Chris for the breaking news, Mac, if you're Kentucky, right, and you see the success that Brad Burnell had at Clemson this year, Elite Eight run, no star players, simply X's and O's, do you make that move?
I mean, yeah, he's from what I've seen this year, he coached the hell out of that team.
He did. As a Gamecock fan, I admit it.
I mean, I give the man his due. Like, I mean, if there's somebody who technically earned it, sure. I mean, that's a great plug-in right there.
And he's from the South, which means he has recruiting connections. And South Carolina has a lot of number one overall players come out of here. I mean, GG, Kevin Garnett, Zion. You think about the big names that come out of South Carolina, and now he's got a direct pipeline to it, right? He knows all the high school coaches. I don't know. Kentucky's one of those that I think is like Alabama will kind of recruit itself if you could just do a little extra. You know what I mean? I think that's where we're at on that.
I mean, it's still a big name. I don't care what anybody says. Like, Kentucky has always been known for basketball.
Correct.
So, I mean, again, if I had to choose a college to go to, for me, I would have been one of the schools.
I agree. Let's see. There's better quality candidates than the frying pan. Donovan, Patino, Pearl, Pope. Now hearing Sampson make an interview and listen Barnhart a notorious over interview. Look, Sampson. You know what? Great coach. He just can't make it all the way. Rick Pitino's got to be 227 years old by now. Unless you're just looking for a short-term answer while you look for your long-term coach, which could be the idea in Kentucky right now. I'm not sure. South Carolina did it with Steve Spurrier. Put in a short-term successful coach for their long-term success. Didn't work very well, but Kentucky, Rick Pitino's probably got 3 years left in him, maybe. He's pretty up there in age. So I don't know. Pitino would be that's what I was just talking about. He would have to be a bridge. Could you see Pitino returning to Kentucky? Chris Finley?
He's too old, and after the stuff that he had to say about St. John's this year, Pitino's not going back to Kentucky. They'd be fools to entertain that. But I have confirmation the breaking news is legit. Apparently, Kentucky has called a press conference. They will be announcing their new head coach within the next hour. And I have inside information on who it is. So let me go ahead and share real quick the new head coach.
If it's within the next hour, we get to announce it here live on our show. Let's do this, Kentucky.
I'm going to go ahead and announce it now. I have the inside information. Ladies and gentlemen,
the inside information?
Ladies and gentlemen, the next head coach at the University of Kentucky for the men's college basketball team, Mr. Jerry Stackhouse.
He said, "Oh Lord." So not done. So are they going to announce in the next hour, or are you just like talking?
No, I had to troll them.
Okay. So
I was going to say, because that makes no fucking sense.
No, he ain't going nowhere but to the house. So do you think, Mac, that they would entertain Rick Pitino again?
I mean, it doesn't make sense. The age is what doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
They asked him at one point this year about his team.
I mean, how old is
St.
Rick Pitino? I'm going to look up real quick.
And when they did, he said it was the least talented team he's ever had. He said it was 71. The worst. He said it. He was,
70 fucking one. Yeah, it's about time to go out to pasture.
Said it was his team was made up of players that literally nobody else wanted, and all kinds of stuff. It was a bad look on Rick Patino. You can't bring that in there.
Well, not only there, he said that the facilities were subpar. I remember actually watching him say that. He said the facilities were subpar. He said the nil money was non-existent, and they have to do a lot better than they're doing right now if they ever want to win, which is exactly what he said. So after you say some stuff like that, like, do you really? I don't know. He's 71. He trashed his school. If I'm Kentucky, I don't think I'd want him. I think I'm looking for the full future, right? So I don't know. What do y'all think the full future will be? Like, everybody just throw a name out there. Right now I don't know. I'm going to say Brad Brunell. Like I said, I've only heard it a couple rumor places, but it makes sense. The pipeline. Who do you have, Chris?
I'll go with Mark Pope at this point in time. BYU.
Mark Pope. Yeah, no, there's a lot of fire there. That I have seen that all day long. What about you, Emily? Do you think they go after Mark Pope as well?
I'm gonna go with you. You know more than I do.
Well, they are interviewing Pope like as we speak. Brad now was just announced. Like, I don't know. Pope at BYU is a good candidate. What do you think, Matt?
I mean, I have no clue. I'm sitting in the boat like I know faces of college coaches, but names, I just don't watch enough.
Well, we'll get you there next year because you watched a lot this year.
Yeah, I watched more than I ever have this year.
Yes. And we like that. All sports are fun.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I mean, for me, the NFL takes premise over everything.
Well, I just want to put up the reminder.
So I know the NFL takes precedent for MAC, but there's actually a topic, if you wanted to cover it, that came out earlier this week. They actually rated the SEC quarterbacks earlier this week. It's quite interesting. If you guys want to get into it, we can talk about it.
Sure.
So, yes. And I already know who number 16 is. And watching him in the spring game, I can't say I agree, but go ahead.
So earlier this week, I don't remember even who it was. They put out a rankings of next year's SEC quarterbacks. Now, mind you, all these Kentucky people have been pumping the name Brock Vandagriff all offseason. Oh, we're going to be great. We got Brock Vandagriff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's take a look at this list that they got. It's actually pretty cool. But because it includes
so you can't
Texas
see number
and
6
Oklahoma.
because it does.
So if you look, Brock Vandagriff is down here at number 12. And if you look right above it, they got Diego Pavia ahead of Brock Vandagriff.
New Mexico State boy.
No, I'm confused. Where they're getting Diego Pavia is number 11 in the SEC. He's not even on campus yet.
Because he ran down Auburn's throat.
This is true.
He ran them down. If y'all had a choice between Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love as your franchise quarterback going forward, who would you pick? We'll stop and answer this question real quick, then we'll get back to the topic. I'm going to choose Jalen Hurts, like, period. That's Jordan Love is a smoke and mirrors kind of guy. So, Mac, you said NFL is your bread and butter, so I'm going to let you take this time. Are you riding with Jalen or are you riding with Jordan?
I'm going to go Jordan. Just because what he can do with his arm. I haven't seen Jalen Hurts do that on a consistent basis. Now, yet we haven't seen a whole lot of Love, but I like Love's ceiling is higher than Hurts. Don't get me wrong. Hurts is very good. Okay. And especially for the type of system you can put him in. Like, he's a gamer. All right. Like I'm not taking anything away from Hurts, but I'm saying if I'm building a team, I'm going with Love as the quarterback.
Well, I'm going to 100% respectfully disagree with that analysis. I watched Jordan Love make some strange ass decisions this year.
I didn't say his decisions were good. I said he knew he could throw the ball good.
Fair
I
enough.
highlighted one thing that I liked about him. The reason why I would choose him. That's it.
He does have an NFL arm. That is true. Emily, you going with Jalen Hurts or are you going with Jordan Love?
Go with Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, and you're riding with Jordan. Those Eagles teams have been stacked. Hey, what about you, Chris?
I'm going with Jordan Love. I've been one of his biggest doubters. But when you look at Jalen Hurts' game, he puts the ball on the turf way too much. And that's something you cannot do if you want to have a successful career as an NFL quarterback, is put the ball on the turf.
Well,
It's,
go ahead.
you can't be fumbling the ball. I also think his body is a little bit frail for the NFL. So if I'm picking one of them, I'm going to Jordan Love to build a franchise with.
Awesome. Well, allow me to retort, because I don't believe Jordan Love's body either is built for the NFL. He has had a number of injuries himself throughout his very short career. I think he has a stronger arm than Jalen Hurts. I agree with that, but I think he makes better decisions. However, he fumbles way too fucking much. There ain't no doubt about that. But I don't know, man. Like I'm saying Jalen Hurts has the higher ceiling. That's just my opinion. If it were my team, if the Falcons came to me and said, Andrew, you can have Jalen Hurts or Jordan Love, we're gonna get you one. You're our greatest fan. Which one you want? It's your decision. I'm taking Jalen.
I understand why you would do that, because when you're building a roster, you got to have a mobile quarterback until you can build your offensive line up. But you get me a quarterback that can throw the ball and spin the ball, and a lot of the offensive line problems disappear.
So he's talking about the graphic up here. So I agree with him. Like you could, and number 16 is Lenore Sellers for y'all, since my scrolling's blocking it at South Carolina. If I don't know if y'all, nobody's got to see him play in the SEC. He's thrown 2 passes, right? Because we had Spencer Rattler. But I've watched the spring games and I've watched him. The guy has a cannon arm. He has 2 5-star receivers right now to throw to, 2 of them. Right? 2 of them to throw to. Unfortunately, he will not have an offensive line, so that may put him at number 16 based on that alone. But I think he's better than 15, 14, and 13. Peyton Thorne is trash. I mean, like straight garbage. Taylor Green hasn't shown nothing, and Blake Shapen, are you kidding me? Better than Lenore Sellers? Come on now. But I do think they got 1, 2, and 3, and 4 right. I think 1 through 4 is right. What do you think, Matt, based on what you saw this year? I know you watched a little more college ball than you did last year.
Yeah, for sure. Cook sounds familiar. The rest of them I don't know. Milroe from Alabama, he played last year?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that guy fucking sucked. But, I mean, I bet on Alabama twice and they fucking lost.
He absolutely did not suck. Alabama does not go to the playoffs without him. I will tell you that.
I'm just saying because I lost the bets. Okay, that's all.
The Eagles do have Saquon Barkley too, but yeah. Well, Emily, do you see anything on this list you would change?
I can just agree with the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the top 3 are really good. Jackson Dart's really freaking good too.
I think the top 3 is pretty accurate.
Me too.
4 through 6, throw them in a bag. Either one of those 3 can come out. So that's pretty good. And then you start getting into the area where You know, you got a first-year player, Nico coming in there. Graham Mertz was terrible at Florida last year. Arnold wasn't anything special at Oklahoma. You know, Nussmeier, they say he's got all the tools, but he's just never put it together. You know, we saw Pavia at New Mexico State win 10 games for them last year.
And eviscerate Auburn at Auburn.
Yeah. Won an SEC game on the road with New Mexico State.
He sure did.
But the bottom of the list, guys that I've never seen play, of 14, 15, 16. Never seen them play. I don't know if any of them are good or not.
Here's a shout out to one of our people here. I just want to go ahead and throw that out there. Yes, Tim picks Jackson Arnold to win the Heisman, so he should be at number 1. Tim does pick Jackson Arnold at number 1. James is 100% correct.
I don't know what he's smoking.
I don't either. Look, I love my team too, but like
I do want to touch on this Saquon Barkley and the Eagles thing.
Yes.
It's not going to matter having the tush push and Saquon Barkley when you got a cancer named at wide receiver playing on your team. Until you get rid of the cancer in the locker room, the Eagles aren't going to be good.
Well, they'll be good, but they won't be Super Bowl good. So I'm looking at this.
I don't think they're going to be good. They just finished the year losing what? 7, 8 games in a row?
It was 7 of 8, I believe.
And it's all because they have a cancer in the locker room named A.J. Brown.
So before we move on, we'll do one more while we wait on James to get here because I know he's going to want to talk about WrestleMania. Jackson Arnold, Tim Bailey will say that he is the best quarterback in the SEC. We've read it, right? He said it over and over. He stands behind it. I'm looking at this list right here. And Jackson Arnold is not by far the best quarterback in the SEC. Like if you could take any of these people on your team, like Carson Beck, Hugh Nevers, Jalen Monroe, Jackson Dart, or Jackson Arnold, who are you going to take? Let's just be honest. Any of the other people I named first. I mean, you disagree?
I don't disagree at all. No. I'm taking everyone that's listed ahead of
Tim does swear he's not a homer.
Everyone that's listed ahead of Jackson Arnold, with the exception of Nico and Graham Mertz, absolutely belong ahead of him.
I agree.
It's Nico and Graham Mertz ahead of Jackson Arnold that I'm kind of like, are we sure about that?
Well, Nico comes into a lot of fanfare. A lot of people are really looking forward to him, especially in Tennessee. That's all I heard about from Tennessee fans this off season. Let's see what the comment. Can't forget the fact that Vandy Chris, that has been a repeat winner in NFC East since 0405. The Eagles win it this year because the Giants and Commanders suck. Well, the Giants and the Commanders do suck. Like, I will 100% agree with that assessment. But
I agree. But when you have cancer in the locker room, it's, I feel bad for you.
So I'm going to tell you this. It would not, and I'm going to ask Matt and Emily next. It would not surprise me if the Cowboys repeated. What about you, Matt?
If the what?
If the Cowboys repeated. The East, winning the East.
The Cowboys win. No. Not happening.
You don't think the Cowboys will win the East?
Listen. Until Jerry Jones gives up, okay, he needs to let go and let's let a real GM come in there and run the show. Listen, the same thing with the Orioles, okay? Like the Angelos been sitting there hand picking players, had their fingerprints on every team, and they've all been fucking shitty. Okay? So the same problem is with the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones hire people and let them do their fucking job. You're not that good, bud. You're just not that good. I don't know who keeps lying to you and telling you you're good at running a football team, but you fucking suck. Ran over.
Emily, that's okay. Emily, do you think the Cowboys can repeat?
No.
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 Well, am I going to be alone here, Chris? Do you think the Cowboys can win the East?
I think they do because, like I said, you have a cancer in the locker room. You look, AJ Brown is a cancer in the locker room. Period. The end. And teams that have cancers in the locker room don't win divisions. They just don't.
Yes,
Do
completely.
you
agree
think
with
Dak
that.
is terrible? You think Dak is terrible?
I think he is terrible considering the hype that he gets. That's what I'll say. He is a better than mediocre quarterback, absolutely. Okay, I will give him that. But because they overhype, just like Josh Allen. Like Josh Allen can make some pretty ass fucking throws. He can fucking run. He can bulldoze, but a lot of his decision making sucks. Like same thing we were talking about Jordan Love. Like, you can do X, Y, and Z really good, but A, B, C, D, and E, and F, you fucking suck. Okay, so it's trying to bring up the again, it's all in coaching yourself up and having coaches coach players up.
I don't think Dak sucks, but I agree with you grading on the curve here. For the height that he is supposed to be, he is not there. That is true.
I mean,
but he is still a good quarterback.
He should have been, like, people act like he's been in multiple NFC championship games. Like he's been to the Super Bowl. Like he hasn't even lost a Super Bowl. So what the fuck? He doesn't even have been to a Super Bowl on the resume, let alone win the Super Bowl. Like, and that's how they act. Like, and for me, it's just fucking crazy because it's like, look at all the talent he has around him. Like, I'm just saying, like, you put any other top 10 quarterback in that, they're gonna flourish like a motherfucker. At least get close to the NFC Championship game.
Right. So I will tell you that the talent level in Dallas is very high. No doubt about that. This is where I will agree with you. If you insert a Josh Allen or somebody like that at Dallas the last few years, I think they're in the Super Bowl. Like, I really do.
I'll agree to that because Josh Allen is definitely the next tier up from fucking Dak Prescott.
Yeah, but don't forget, Josh Allen had a cancer in his locker room too. Now he's gone.
I mean, Josh Allen, listen. Last year, he should have been in the playoffs. They should have been making a playoff motherfucking run. Okay? His bad decision-making is the reason why they didn't. I'll put that squarely on him. Like, nobody else is out there throwing interceptions and giving the ball up.
Yes. That I was just reading that. That was funny. They took a shot at you, Chris.
He's definitely taking a shot at me.
He is.
He can take a shot at me all he wants. I'll die on that hill that AJ Brown is divisive in the Eagles locker room, and that's why the offense took a shit last year. And as long as he's on that roster, their offense is going to take another shit this year. Pardon my French, but that's how I see it.
So if you tried to move him, what would you accept for him? Would you accept the 4th round pick, 5th round pick?
For who?
For Brown.
At this
I
point,
would take Brown. The Ravens? Are you kidding me? If they were actually going to give up Brown, I would love to have him with the Ravens. Are you fucking kidding me?
He came around. He said, I'd take Brown.
You motherfucking right. I would take Brown. You goddamn right. Listen. I'm just saying. The one thing I can say, right? Harbaugh might be a motherfucking dumbass when it comes to X's and O's, but that some bitch will coach up, and he like he's a character guy. Like, if you're at least a half decent person, oh, he'll work with you. He'll work with you. I mean, look, Steve Smith Sr. was mad, angry, pissed off at the Carolina Panthers. Like, he talked so much shit. And after a couple weeks with John Harbaugh, like, bro, he mellowed out a lot.
And he's an announcer now, and a pretty darn good one.
Yeah, and I mean, it was literally John Harbaugh was like, listen. We want to get the last little bit of football you got left in the tank. Okay.
Correct.
And you still and look, you want to go on a revenge tour. You want a chance at winning a bowl? Look, let's see what we can do. But that's what I'm saying. Like, the Ravens were good at paying receivers to come in, especially veterans. And I'm sorry, like Brown, that's our type of guy. That is our type of guy. I would love to see him in purple and black. Jesus Christ, bro. That would be super scary. Lamar Jackson could just throw the fucking ball up and let him go up and try to catch that motherfucker. Oh.
So let me ask you, I want to just comment, then I'm going to ask you this before we go to a commercial.
Second round pick. I would give a second round pick for him today.
The way they underperformed this year. So they did underperform. But let's talk about another wide receiver. I want to ask all three of you if you would have him on your team, because I follow him on X and he is a fucking menace to society and I love him. Antonio Brown. Do you let him on your team?
Hell no.
2 years ago, I would have been like, hell yeah. Now, no. It's too far removed. The CTE has really set in. And
yes.
Have you seen his new Twitter handle?
I have.
No. CTESPN.
CTE ESPN. It's actually his news network. He's made this whole network. I don't know if you saw that, Chris. Whole news network, CTESPN. I shit you not. That is his. I'd put R-Truth on my team before Antonio Brown. At least you could laugh if you had R-Truth out there. Ryan Killings. But so he's a schizophrenic freak. He is.
I'm just being
if you don't real. Follow AB on that, you need to go out there and do that.
Oh, he's a funny follow.
You need to follow it.
What kind of cracker are you?
I would not want him on the Falcons. Yes, he has cracker of the day. He actually called our very own Tim Bailey a cracker straight to his face. That was pretty funny.
No, he didn't call him a cracker. He called him a doo-doo cracker.
So he told him to come with the bag. So, yeah, Antonio Brown, I would not want on the Falcons right now. I would not. But following him on X, yeah, like that, the guy's a menace to society. He really is a fucking menace.
Do you see a trend here? I mean, seriously,
yes.
There's a trend here. Guys named A. Brown are mentally challenged.
Hey, look, Antonio Brown has been posted, especially the stuff about Lizzo. Have you seen that? And Diddy? Like, the stuff he's posting about Lizzo and Diddy, he's coming after them, especially Diddy. That, I'm sorry. It's so funny, some of the stuff he says about Diddy. We all know what's going on there, right? But yeah, Rating the Air podcast, the Carolina Panthers can have Antonio Brown. I think he would at least have people come to the game, buy a ticket.
I'm right there with Antonio Brown on that Diddy story, because the videos that I've seen that have come out,
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say.
AB and 50 Cent, especially 50 Cent, he's going after him hard too. That's a weirdo.
He's 50 Cent said this man tried to take me shopping.
Yeah. Yes, he said if you haven't seen some of the remarks that 50 Cent has put on social media, you got to go Google that.
Him and Cat Williams both.
Cat Williams, Antonio Brown, 50 Cent, they all coming after him. And isn't he in Bora Bora or some shit right now?
Somebody tipped him off that they were raiding his house and he skipped the states.
He did, and left his sons there to get arrested too. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
His own sons. He's And then they out there trying to fight cops. Like, he didn't even call them and be like, hey, look, they coming. Put your hands down. Just get arrested. You'll be out tomorrow. That's how this works. No, fight the cops. Ha ha ha. He's on the blame. Like, what?
Yeah, he really is on the run.
Yeah, he's on the run for real. Like, he touched a bunch of young people, and he's got to pay the piper for that. That's what's going on right now.
And it's not just that he touched the young people. It's he ran an entire sex trafficking operation for the wealthy and the elite. And if you're somebody and you got a name in Hollywood and you're connected to P. Diddy, you might want to be talking to the feds and coming clean.
Well, I mean, so what P. Diddy is essentially Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, they're saying it's worse than Epstein. So
yeah, I've heard that too.
I mean, look, no offense, but one diddler is, no worse than another diddler. If you're a diddler, you're a fucking diddler, and you deserve to diddle die.
Right.
I don't disagree with that at all. And Jeffrey Epstein
that was about as PG as I can say that.
Like, I agree with you 100%. Like, I got no love for these people. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. We heard all the memes and Jeffrey Epstein, but you know what? Fuck him. He deserves to die. I'm not sad at all.
There's one with P. Diddy that is not suitable for television that I shared in a chat the other day. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But it refers to Epstein hanging from a sheet, and it's got pictures of Hillary Clinton and P. Diddy, and it's pretty bad.
I mean, look, P. Diddy, he didn't hang himself, right? P. Diddy gonna be the same way. He gonna come up with a young man's heart attack. A lot of like the other people. He got a heart attack. That's how it happens.
It's going to give new meaning to the song "There He Was," just to hang him by the sheet.
You singing. Think I look like Aaron Nola?
And what was he singing, Andrew?
I don't know what he was singing. I'm gonna stay out of that.
Diddy dum diddy do.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, real quick. Like, I love Hillary Clinton. I love her a lot. Like, she's my favorite. I love her so much. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that out there. I don't know about y'all and the things that y'all are saying about this woman, but I love you.
The most unlikable candidate I've ever voted for.
I voted for you. Don't. Yeah, I love you. I don't know what Chris is doing, but I'm just gonna throw that out there real quick. I love her. What's up, JD? Yes, OJ did die.
I'm just going to say Hillary Clinton is not her husband.
Yes, God. Not at all. JD is here. He's live from Japan. He's somebody I've known since I was 4 years old. And we thank you for your service, JD. We're ready for you to come back on whenever you can get on. So I'm confused. So are y'all saying... You saying I have a big nose? Like,
he said you look like this man said you look like Aaron Nola,
right?
And then right in the air says, Aaron Nola got a big nose.
Yeah, I was unaware.
And a big forehead.
Right. I was unaware.
Damn. Damn.
Like my own wife's taking shots at me over here.
You need to stop saying you want all the smoke, because you getting too much smoke now.
I had to Google his picture. You look nothing like him.
Oh my God. Okay, that is hilarious.
He clarified. You don't look like Aaron Nola because you don't have a big nose.
Oh, I got you. I was about to say, I'm getting an awful lot of smoke today.
You don't have a big forehead either.
Play the video. Play the video.
Oh yeah, JD. I got you. Just for JD. Come on. I'm gonna play the video, then we're gonna go to commercial.
say. Beautiful.
So anyway, I love me some Dawn Staley. For those of you who don't know this yet, that's our third national championship. So we're going to go to commercial, but clarify this comment when we come back, James. I want to know which refs we're talking about.
All of them.
Yes, I'm with you. All refs are terrible. And
Let's
for
just
those
make it all
of you,
digital. Just make it
I'm
all
with
digital.
you.
Put them on the tablet on the sidelines. There you go.
Right. Ask this one down here in the corner how much I love refs, because she knows.
I'm surprised you ain't got no charges.
I'm watching sports I know nothing about, and I'm like, I know that's wrong. I don't even know what the fuck's going on, but I know he's lying.
Well, we do have a little bit of a topic on refs to talk about since we were last here.
So we're going to go to commercial, and we'll be back in 2 minutes, and then we get to invite our last guest, and we still got WrestleMania. We still got the refs. We got a lot to talk about. See you in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. You're watching College Sports Villains only on the Dog Media Network.
Boy, that's mediocre.
Then what the f are you doing?
I was drinking that.
No, you were surviving it. Give excitement a try with Bones Coffee. Click on the link below to order some for yourself. Here. Whoa is right. That substance you were sipping before is what we in the industry refer to as ass water. Sure, it technically has caffeine, but at Bones Coffee, we believe in the experience of waking up every morning looking forward to that first tasty cup. That's why we roast carefully selected beans in small batches to perfection, so you can count on quality in every cup. And not only that, Bones has a ton of fabulous flavors from which to choose.
Bang! Did someone mention flavors? Highland Greg, pleasure to meet you.
What'll it be, Greg?
You know, I've been hankering for the spiced rum flavor of Highland Grove, please.
Greg, I'm surprised by the size of your bagpipe.
Ugh, it's not the size of the bagpipe that matters, laddie.
Yeah, it's how hard you blow it.
Yeah, let's leave the talking to me.
Oh, gee, I just got back from chasing some hosers out of the grilling rink. I could go for some maple bacon coffee right about now.
Coming right up.
Hey kid, you single?
Yeah.
That's why this place looks like
Here you are, my salty siren.
Thanks. I need the salted caramel chocolate pick-me-up after dealing with this loser.
How in the world are all these people getting in here?
We just walked in. Click on the link below to stop drinking water and get yourself Bones Coffee today. Or maybe you don't want to click on the link below because you think, flavored coffee's not for me. That was Sarah G's experience. She says, usually flavored coffees taste chemically to me, but these do not. They have a really pleasant aroma and flavor. They do not leave that weird residue on the bottom of your mug like many flavored coffees do. And Cheryl S. says, I ordered this for my son's GF for a B-day. She loves it. Why, Cheryl, that's awfully nice of you. Unfortunately, they broke up and I can't return it. Frowny face. Well, that's awkward. At least she liked it, though. Stop settling for mediocrity and order Bones Coffee today.
Welcome back, everybody, to College Sports Villains on the Dog Media Network. I want y'all to meet my daughter, Palin. Say hey to everybody.
Hey.
So she's 14 now. She wanted to stop by, say hey, show. Thank you. You can go in there and play now. All right. So welcome back, everybody. He said he was just messing with me. He didn't watch it. So because I was ready to talk about the refs, especially in women's basketball. But let's introduce to the stage our last co-host of the day, James. How we doing?
I'm doing good, man, and it feels good to be a permanent co-host on this show.
I love it. We're gonna recap some stuff. Chris, go ahead, Chris.
Oh boy.
Let's just say to be a permanent co-host on the show, you got to show up on time, don't you?
Hey, let me talk to you. I didn't do it on purpose. I clicked the link, and next thing I know, I go into the studio and it says show ended. No, maybe I clicked the wrong link. Maybe I clicked the wrong one. I don't know. Okay.
The show has definitely not ended. So we are going to do a recap of a few things that you missed real quick. And then we saved WrestleMania, of course, and the main topic of the day. Tara Vandiver, she retired, women's basketball coach, one of the greatest of all time. I just want to go ahead and give you all the reminder real quick of just who your national champions are. I really, really like that. We talked about this. I know you got a little into college football this year. Before we move on with some more topics and talk about some other stuff, do you see anything here that you disagree with, James?
Yeah, Quinn Ewers being the second best quarterback going into next season. Like, yes, Texas actually did something last year, but Texas is Texas. They haven't done a damn thing since 2005 when Vince Young was under center.
Fair take.
And they were really good with Vince Young under center.
They were, but honestly, I trust Arch Manning under center than I would Quinn Ewers. I mean, it's like, oh, this dude is our next savior. He is this quarterback of mixed quarterbacks in the NFL, except with a mullet. Okay, cool. In order to actually do something, you need to actually win something. Right, Caleb Williams?
He won the Heisman. So
yeah,
I'm
he
just
won the
saying,
Heisman. Where he's supposed to be this next level generational quarterback. Where are the national championships, though?
I think that's a term that gets thrown around way too much, is generational talent.
It is, but I'm going to defend Caleb Williams here. Like, he scored like 40-something points a game and still lost a bunch. I mean, if you
he lost to Tulane. What was the last fucking time they were actually relevant?
He put up 49 points in that game, did he not?
He also threw 7,000 interceptions against Notre Dame last year.
And then cried to his mama in the stands. Yeah, because that's what Chicago needs.
Well, I think he's going to be really good for Chicago. I know you're still heard about the Justin Fields thing. Justin Fields not even starting in his new place. Really weird. So, one of the topics we brought up earlier, because I want to get your take on this. All right, going forward, like your franchise quarterback, you're about to sign to a long-term deal. Are you taking Jalen Hurts or Jordan Love?
Ooh, man. I want to say Jalen Hurts because, yes, there was a lot of things that did help the Eagles get to the Super Bowl more so, the tush push and everything like that. I think it's more so that Jalen Hurts has more playoff experience than Jordan Love does. Did the Packers beat Dallas in their home stadium? Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, Dallas is the football version of the Dodgers. When it comes to playoff time, they constantly choke. So, I have more faith in Jalen Hurts than I would Jordan Love. I mean,
yeah, me too. So we were Chris and Mac had a different take on that. They think Jordan Love was a better choice to going forward. My problem with Jordan Love isn't his arm. It's like I watched him play a bunch of games and his decision making just it isn't there.
Right.
And maybe because he hasn't played enough, he's been injured a lot in his short career. But
for like 3-4 years, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, says
I'll say,
Biden
I'm
is a
gonna
body
say that
double.
again. You know, if you're playing behind a guy that thinks the United States president is a body double, you got problems.
Hey, that's that ayahuasca talking.
Yeah, it is. That's his magic mushrooms. He had a better first year than Rodgers. Replacing legends are never easy, right? So we have two more segments. You want to pull up, Chris, what you uploaded a minute ago? We could talk about that for a second as well.
So we were talking about people looking like people earlier. So as everybody knows, Arkansas hired a new basketball coach this week.
Oh yeah, they were throwing stones at me.
to-
You missed that, James.
Oh boy.
just happens to be John Calipari. And I want you to look at this image and tell
I think I
me,
know the image.
does this not look like Clay Travis in a red suit? I mean, look at that. I swear to God, somebody cut Clay Travis.
He looks like a mafioso boss.
Yes.
That looks
like,
just
look out, New York City. Here comes a Chicago mob boss.
But
Yes,
I swear
what he
to
looks
God, though, he does, and that looks like Clay Travis. If you've ever watched Clay Travis or seen pictures of him,
Okay,
Yes,
to quote Conor McGregor, who the fuck is that guy?
that
Wall
was
Street to me. I mean,
Yeah,
the only
and Clay
coaches I
Travis.
know are Coach K, Roy Williams, Jim Boeheim, Rick Pitino, John Calipari, obviously. And that's
Right.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I earlier what you missed before we go into another segment is apparently I look like Aaron Nola. I have a big ass nose, and my wife said I have a big ass forehead. So they were
No,
throwing
you
all the
don't.
smoke.
You don't have a big forehead. He has a big forehead.
Oh my god.
But I'm reading these and I'm hearing that, and I'm like, man, they're all attacking me, and they're both like, no, I'm not saying that. But yeah, man, I got all the smoke tonight, didn't I?
I can
don't know
give Clay
how
Travis
much
some smoke. Do we dare dive off into that one?
No,
Let's not and say
you're not going there. You're not going there today. But let's go ahead and discuss, and I want James to take the lead on this. Let's go ahead and discuss this.
The tyrannical reign of Roman Reigns is officially over. Oh my God. I mean, look, WWE went all out for this main event between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. I mean, look, the people that came out, the crowd was going nuts every single time. I mean, it basically all started with John Cena. As soon as his music hits, the crowd went nuts. Now, me personally watching the match and hearing Undertaker's bell toll, I get it. Undertaker's been out of the ring for a while. It's like his first appearance since I believe he retired. But, I mean, let's be honest. True WWE fans, looking back on the Attitude Era, know that Stone Cold and The Rock made the Attitude Era. The one absolute thing that we were hoping to hear was the glass shatter. But, I mean...
Yep, they couldn't come to an agreement, I heard.
Say what?
They couldn't come to an agreement with Stone Cold, from what I hear.
Okay. Well, look, it is what it is. It was still a great main event, and even the ring announcer couldn't even keep it together when announcing that Cody Rhodes ended the 1,316-day reign that Roman Reigns had on the WWE. Like, I got a buddy who was my best man in my wedding, and said that he would not watch SmackDown until Roman Reigns lost the title. That man was more committed to not watching SmackDown than a One Piece fan.
Mm-hmm. So now that Cody is the champion, right? Where do you see this going? Do you see him in the Rock at SummerSlam?
Yeah, I could honestly see him in the Rock at SummerSlam. They were in the ring together discussing plan. Sounded like they were discussing plans moving forward. And, we all saw The Rock give Cody something. I don't know what the hell it was. But, I mean, if they clash at SummerSlam or, hell, even Backlash, it would still be something to watch.
Yes. R-Truth. So R-Truth did
Facts.
win.
Facts. Also facts.
Yeah, so R-Truth came out with in the tag team tornado match and won the titles. He was real funny. Then he showed up the next day with the title and got in between them, and when Damian Priest and them were putting their titles, Rhea Ripley, I believe it is.
Oh my God, they truly are professionals. I would have had to go off camera because I would have broke so hard.
Oh yes. Did you see the footage of CM Punk backstage that was supposedly so big of a deal?
Yeah, honestly, unfortunately, it is AEW's version of WCW's The Finger Poke of Doom.
Right, the finger poke of doom.
They are burying themselves at this point.
I don't know enough about it to really be informed. To be honest with you, I just don't.
Yeah.
But let's because I still want to get into some baseball. Let's talk about this.
All
right? Who has the best uniform?
So
College
Florida,
football. We'll start. What's that? You can choose anybody you want. Like it doesn't. These are just examples.
Okay. Who are the other two teams?
You got Oregon State, Virginia Tech, Ohio State, Florida, and Oregon.
Oregon easily.
Oregon easily.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to go with
green. I mean, it's just again, it just looks so nice. It pops. It's appeasing to the eye.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they get priority because the owner of Nike. Emily, who do you think has the best uniforms?
I don't know. I don't really pay attention to the uniforms.
Well, I mean, you could say Alabama, like they have a classic uniform.
Yes. I'll just take the cheap way out and say Alabama.
That's fine with me. The only contender that looks part of a heavyweight. So yeah, he is definitely the only guy that's big. I mean, I would say Roman Reigns. I mean, he's a pretty fucking big guy too, I would imagine. But
Cody he's gonna be taking
some
time off from WWE, so
yeah, he is definitely Oregon. JD says definitely Oregon. James is definitely FSU. He's an FSU fan, so
I was gonna say, do his parents know that he's coming out of the closet yet?
They don't know. But
you say FSU, it means one thing.
I'm going to ask Chris his favorite, and I'm just going to say my favorite uniforms are South Carolina. I'm taking the cheap way out too. But outside of that, and this segues into Chris so well. Like this just screams Chris. I'm going honorable mention NC State.
I mean,
look at Chris.
I mean, look, with uniforms, give me South Carolina, give me any school, whether it's Vanderbilt, Wake Forest, Purdue, South Carolina, any team that can rock the all black. Or hell, even the schools that I mentioned, they can rock all black any day of the week, and it still works for them.
I agree. Chris, your favorite uniforms? I don't know if it's Vandy or not because you do differentiate, but outside of Vandy, because we know you like those, who you got?
So I'll put it to you this way. I like old school.
Yes, me
Keep
too.
it simple. So 2 of my favorites are always going to be Penn State and Alabama. But my favorite uniform, you got to be able to rock the black and gold. You have to. And it's the simplest color combination in the world. There's only a few schools that do it.
JD will love
But the
this.
black and the old gold are impeccable when it comes to, the best color combination.
I told you.
So, yes, I'm going to say Vanderbilt. UCF does black and gold really well. But I'm going to go. I'm going to go Vanderbilt.
Another team that rocks the all black very well.
And it actually, nobody else can rock the gangsta PJs like the Vanderbilt Commodores baseball team. If you know, you know.
Yeah, we've seen them on air.
I don't know. I think Indiana's basketball team with their striped pants would say otherwise.
Oh,
maybe.
Were nice. Those were nice.
Just pure classic.
So here we go. Everybody, you ready?
It's time for Mac's Spicy Picks.
So, yeah, I didn't upload anything today. I didn't really have too much time, but I will give you a spicy parlay. Bear with me. Boom.
Okay.
All right. So, what is this? So, I got John for the Masters, right? So, I got John Rahm, Brooks Koepka, right? Fuck is this? The guy who fucking Oskay and Tiger Woods finishing in the top 20.
Ooh. Oh, you have them finishing in the top 20. Okay, yeah. I'm with you on that. Because at first I'm like, but yeah, top 20. Yeah, I got you now. I got you. I just. Yeah,
listen. Yeah, I can't put all those guys as winners. No. So that's what I was. Yeah, it's just a top 20 parlay. So I threw it in there. It's what is it? It's plus 1,400.
Nice.
So, nice little come up. I got $5 on it. So,
hey,
so I'm glad you clarified that it was top 20 and not the winner. Because,
that was a lot of winners. That's a lot of winners.
Because as far as the Masters goes, as long as the missus can keep the plug in so the baby don't come out, Scotty Scheffler is going to win this thing. I said what I said.
Let's all choose ours real quick. I'm feeling nostalgic today. I'm liking the vibes. I'm liking the comments. I'm liking the confidence. I'm going with Tiger Woods one more time. Do it, Tiger. Do it. Bring it home. I'm making the pick right now. James, who you got?
Oh, man. I mean, this kid was supposed to be like the next dominant golfer for years to come. 9 years ago. If he's in it, hey, cool. I'm going to take him. Jordan Spieth.
That's not a far stretch. He's a fantastic golfer. I'm confused. I mean, that's somebody that if he won it, I'd be like, okay, yeah.
I mean, after like 3 years of being in like the top 5, top 3, he just kind of started falling off. I don't know where he is in the standings right now, but I'd love to see him get one and just be back on top again.
So before we go to Matt, I will tell you, and I think Chris will agree with me here, he has the David Duval syndrome. So he was really good. Then he hit the weight room, and it messed up David Duval's game really, really bad. And I think that's what's going on with him. As you see him bulk up, his game is coming down. And I think that's exactly what's – because David Duval was the bomb. He won a major. He's on top of the world. He hit the weight room on the offseason, and you never heard from him again. It was just that quick, too. Him and Phil Mickelson, like there for a while. Boy, that was so much fun golf back in those days. Sorry to hijack that from you, Mac. Who you got winning it all? You threw a lot of names out there.
Well, you took my spicy pick. My spicy pick is Tiger Woods. He spent 2 weeks training at Augusta for this. Like this is he's trying to win it one last time.
Mm-hmm.
Orioles just hit a fucking home run. We're up 3-2. Yeah.
How's Jackson doing?
He got a hit.
Hey, that's how you bounce back.
Emily, who do you think is going to win the Masters?
I'm going to go with Tiger Woods just because that's the only name I know.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. I go with Tiger. So I love Tiger. I wanted to win. But yes, Holiday, man, he is going to be phenomenal.
Yes.
The Braves lost 2 or 3 to the fucking Mets. I don't understand. 16-4. And the hapless Miami Marlins beat the Yankees. Like something's going wrong in baseball this week. I know shit happens. Baseball is a marathon, not a sprint, but come the fuck on.
Or something's potentially going right for teams that end up being bad but start off good. The Royals hung 9 runs on the Astros in the first inning alone.
Swept them.
They literally batted around their lineup, and people that got out fucking redeemed themselves. I mean, like I said, like I told Andrew here, KCPD was being called because the Royals were royally massacring the Astros that bad in the first inning.
Yeah, I mean, they got a sweep. Chris, what was your thought?
So you mentioned the Yankees beating, or the Marlins beating the Yankees, in which I have a personal connection to that. I am friends with the Weathers family. If you know the history of the Weathers family, David Weathers won one of his 4 World Series championship rings as a reliever for the New York Yankees. He spent 19 years in major leagues. And his son, pitching for the expansion team that drafted David Weathers, Ryan Weathers, was the starting pitcher at Yankee Stadium the other night and pitched 5 shutout innings. So it's a personal connection for me that goes back a number of years, and people that I care a lot about, you know, and to see him do that, it meant a lot to me. So congratulations, Ryan, on a phenomenal performance.
Yep, it was. Jamie, so they we're like 10 games in. We don't know anything about the playoffs yet. But I would not be willing to bet Cleveland's going to the playoffs this year. I wouldn't bet on it.
I was even going to say 2 things. First off, respect for still calling them the Indians and not giving into that PC bullshit. Second, the Tigers and Royals are somehow competing in the AL Central when they were honestly projected to have a mediocre season.
We talked at the beginning of the year. I'm big on the Tigers. I was before the season started.
I think we all took the Tigers as one of the dark horses.
Yes, I think we did. Yep.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves because again, we're 12 games into the season.
Yes,
that we are.
Yep. And how about Sonny Gray getting cleared off the injury list and coming out with the performance he had for the Cardinals the other night?
Yeah, well,
nice.
It was very nice.
They have pitching. 100%. They have pitching.
You know, I did not upload the video. I should have. But what about Major League Baseball refs allowing a ball popped up that hit the pitcher's mound to go and let the Oakland Athletics have a double play instead of calling the infield fly rule? And it stood in New York. Like what? Like what the hell is going on?
Maybe Angel Hernandez has some connections we don't know about.
He must. Like, how do you not review that? And New York be like, that's called an infield fly rule? Like, I'm so confused.
That ball was so close to the pitcher's mound.
Yes,
I mean, it could have been a more infield fly if the ball actually tried.
It was on the home plate side of the pitcher's mound, not even the second base side. Like, somebody took some money there. Like, Chris, you've been watching longer than any of us. Have you ever seen the umpires do that? Close to the infield?
So the only thing I can figure out is the umpires decided that without normal effort, a play couldn't be made, which is one of the precedents for calling an infield fly. It's got to take normal effort.
It was a foot from the pitcher's mound.
So the only thing I can figure out is they decided it didn't fall under the category of normal effort, because your first baseman's got to come in, your catcher's got to go out. One of those guys have to make an incredible play to catch the ball.
The entire infield and their dead grandmother was in on that play.
Yeah, they were right there. We saw the video.
That ball was so close to the mound, it was like a fat kid on a cupcake.
I get it. I get it. I'm just trying to figure out what the umpires saw.
The only thing I could think is the umpires were being jerks because they didn't catch the ball and they could have easily caught it. But that really would hurt. Like, and that wouldn't, I mean, it doesn't make sense that they'd let them do a double play at that. But the whole thing was strange to me, Chris, and James and Mac and Emily.
Yeah.
It was strange.
It was, well, not as strange as fucking Oakland getting the win.
Well, I mean,
they have 5 wins right now.
Yeah, they won the series.
They'd be worse than the Marlins.
Even bad teams are going to win some games that they're not supposed to win every once in a while.
They are. That's true, but still, that play was just ridiculous. The Braves losing 2 or 3 to the Mets was ridiculous. I know it's in April and it don't matter, and you're going to lose series, and the Braves are still going to win the East, but fuck the Mets, man.
I'm not so sure the Braves win the East.
Yeah, the Braves are winning the East.
Not with the injury problems creeping up on them. They've lost 2 guys in a week.
Spencer Strider is injured. It's not like they have a fully stacked team.
They've lost 2 guys in a week.
You know what? Like, we go outscore people because we're giving up 7 runs a fucking game, and we've won 7 games.
You gonna bet on that?
Max Fried got lit up,
and we all know that Acuna is not going to stay healthy.
Well, we'll see if they do load management with him, which is where I'm thinking the Braves will probably go with Acuna. But so we really covered. And just so you know, James, something you missed, but we're doing this respectfully. O.J. Simpson was one of the best to ever do it in the NFL and college. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would 100% agree. NFL MVP, Heisman Trophy winner, 5-time Pro Bowler. Damn shame he couldn't add Super Bowl champion to that resume, because I didn't get to see him play. I only got to see and hear the other side of things, respectfully.
I only got to watch him act in movies. He was an actor by the time I came.
That's right. He was in Naked Gun with Leslie Nielsen.
Hilarious movies.
Yes, like true slapstick comedy.
It was.
Oh.
Man, and you know that's what he did, and I never got to watch him play, but I have seen old games, and the guy was phenomenal.
Yeah, the highlights are just something else, because it's like, bro, like you were Eric Dickerson before Eric Dickerson,
and he was faster.
Yeah, looking at it, I could probably say Eric Dickerson is probably the Tim Duncan of the NFL. Because he did use fundamentals to run fast, but yeah.
Yep, he did. So we it was a great show. I'm trying to I want to thank all of you for being here. Before we go, I want to just go ahead and bring this back up as the reminder of who the champions are.
Oh my God, South Carolina kept getting so many bad calls. Look, a win is a win, is it not?
A win is a win.
Okay, so South Carolina overcame the bad calls and they still got the win.
Correct.
But they weren't bad calls.
But they were. And so was the one in Utah. So we want to say, so you know what, let's address the elephant in the room while we're here. We still got some time. So Chris said that the call at the end of the game was good because you got to call the foul. And then we showed him video evidence of them doing it, Iowa doing it to Connecticut over and over and over. And he said, well, they didn't call it in the moment, but it's totally okay that they did it for Caitlin Clark in Iowa, but it's not okay.
In the moment. What are you talking about?
Hey, but hear me out.
A foul's a foul.
Okay. The only reason they called it a foul at the end of the game was because she stuck her elbow out and she elbowed the girl in the face. That's what got called.
She hit her here. But a foul is a foul, is your point. No matter where it comes from.
I mean, you have to call that foul. You can't swallow. If you're telling the official to swallow their whistle, then you might as well tell them to swallow the whistle the entire game.
I mean, look, I'm going to just say this. Great teams overcome adversity in the best way possible. South Carolina was undefeated. They were clearly a great team. Yes, they had some questionable calls, we'll say, going against them. But look, they overcame it and completed the perfect season, getting the national championship win.
They 100% finished the story.
So my whole thing, though, is the reason they called that foul on UConn was because of the elbow. It wasn't that it was a moving screen. It was because of the elbow. But when you look at the play in total, yeah, it was a moving screen followed by an elbow. So on Sunday, they didn't call a moving screen on either team. And both teams were doing it. They didn't call it. They actually called a very clean game on Sunday. Yes, South Carolina had more fouls. Did you see how aggressive they were being on defense? You're going to have more fouls when you do that. But when it boiled down to it, it didn't affect the outcome of the game.
So my point here is we were talking about the foul. With 4 seconds to go, you're going to make that call. That's a bullshit call to make.
You have to make that call. You can't let somebody just elbow somebody in the face and not call it.
But you said a foul's out and you have to call it. So you have to call all of them. You have to make all of them then. You have to make all the calls then. Consistent.
It's just not human.
Like those girls were jawing and pushing at each other all night. Were they not? Like,
well,
they were
on top of that, fucking Nikita Mule, whatever the fuck her name was on UConn, she was all over Caitlin Clark like white on rice, a fat kid on a cupcake. Her foot was so far up Caitlin Clark's ass, the water on her knee quenched Caitlin's thirst. Shout out to Major Payne.
But my point is, like, you got to make all the calls, right? They were very inconsistent.
You can't possibly do that.
I mean, we made the call in the heat of the moment, didn't we? We could possibly do that.
Okay, but you can't ignore the elbow to the face. You're asking the official to swallow a whistle to get a favorable outcome for the team that you want to win.
No, that's not it at all. Those girls were pushing over and over and over. They were jawing. It was a physical game.
They weren't elbowing
people. And if it wasn't Iowa, I'm not sure you'd be saying the same thing right now, because
I absolutely would.
They are elbowing each other the whole game. That was an aggressive game. UConn and Iowa was aggressive from the jump.
Absolutely.
I'm okay with that foul being called. And I was cheering for UConn. Remember, I said if UConn wins it, they win the Natty.
I don't think you were cheering for them. I think you picked them to win. The sports side.
I was 100% behind UConn.
So I still think UConn's going to come back next year and be the number one team.
Yeah. Revenge tour.
Oh, by the way, Vanderbilt has a official visitor this weekend.
The visitor that will be going to UConn.
Not going to UConn.
HBL is going to UConn.
That's why she's in Nashville visiting Vandy this weekend. She's going to UConn, right?
She's visiting. Hey, she'll visit a bunch of places. I feel in my heart of hearts she'll go to UConn. But who knows?
Don't want her.
I don't know. Well, maybe not. Like HBL does come with a lot of distractions, right? And she obviously couldn't guard Caitlin Clark at all. Caitlin Clark ate her ass up in that game.
That's funny.
Like anybody who watched that game, woo.
I think she's got to go somewhere that's going to get her mind right. And get her focused on playing ball again.
So I want to real quick recap the South Carolina game before we go because we're approaching the 2-hour mark. So South Carolina, Iowa, officiating aside, right? Caitlin Clark had 18 points in the first, right?
Yep.
And then 9 for the last 3. So what happened was South Carolina transitioned to put Raven Johnson on
change
her.
that defense, yep.
And it was a lock. She couldn't do shit. Raven Johnson stole the ball from her over and over, put her in bad positions for shots. Like it was a brilliant move by Dawn Staley. Like Raven Johnson got the game-winning steal. And why that's significant, Chris will probably know. The rest of you probably won't. Last year in the Final Four when South Carolina was playing Iowa, Caitlin Clark brushed her off with her hand, like disrespectfully to Raven Johnson. Just did like that to her. Very disrespectful. Caitlin Clark was very disrespectful, just as Angel Reese was. But like we only like to call Angel Reese out for that. But anyway, that's the story for next week. But my point is, she did a little wave, and Raven Johnson put a clamp on that bitch, didn't she? She clamped that bitch down.
if you remember, during the first quarter, I said, if this is the defense that South Carolina is going to play, and they're going to sag on Caitlin Clark, they're going to lose. But when they changed it up and went box and one, and had one-on-one with zone coverage on the wrist, man, that Raven Johnson did such a great defensive job on Caitlin Clark. They couldn't get the ball passed down to the middle.
They couldn't. Nope.
So,
and I agree.
Now, the times that they were able to, Hannah Stolke was able to make her presence felt, and it gave them a little bit of an advantage. But for the most part, they kept that locked down where they couldn't make that entry pass.
They could not. We're going to have to wait a minute before Emily comes back. We're about to do our wrap up anyway. But so before we do that, Diana Taurasi came out with a quote and said, Caitlin Clark looks superhuman against these 18-year-olds. But when she gets into the WNBA, it's going to be a different world for her. And why that matters and why that makes sense is because Raven Johnson put the clamp down on her. Imagine what these women in the WNBA who's been doing this shit for years are going to do to Caitlin Clark, especially now that she's already sold out all these games. Everybody's all about her. They have to move these WNBAs to bigger stadiums. Like this is a fact. This is what's on the Caitlin Clark effect. They're going to be out for blood with her.
I mean, I completely agree with that.
Sorry, I got to cut out of here. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Thank you, Matt. See you next week.
But yeah, like, I mean, no disrespect to Atlanta, but I think whatever team that Caitlin Clark goes to, it's going to be the Trae Young effect. You know,
Indiana.
You take out Caitlin Clark or Trae Young, the team that they're on can't do a goddamn thing. Well,
I don't agree with
UConn
that
was
either.
on the verge of beating Iowa because Caitlin Clark got shut down. Obviously, South Carolina pulled away in the closing minutes of the game. But like you said, as soon as the clamps were put on Caitlin Clark, Iowa couldn't do a goddamn thing.
Correct.
It's the exact same way that Trae Young was when he went to school in Oklahoma, and then Oklahoma proceeded to lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
So my My take is Diana Taurasi, who's been a classless jerk all weekend regarding Caitlin Clark. She disrespected her Friday night. She disrespected her Sunday. And I just think it's part of her being from UConn and picking, trying to say everybody at UConn is better than Caitlin Clark. That's what I took.
But that does prove my point. One, you love Iowa. We all know that. But Diana Taurasi comes out and says it. The other WNBA players are thinking it as well. That's what we were just talking about.
That ain't what they said.
They could say whatever they need to say for the ratings to come down the pike. But I guarantee you, they're like, I'm going to shut this bitch down. I mean, like, she's high.
But that's the conversation that they had, though, was you're building a team. Who do you take? And Diana Taurasi said, I'm taking Paige all day long. And her own teammate at UConn said, no, I'm taking Caitlin Clark. You have to take Caitlin Clark.
All right. So if I'm on a WNBA team and I can have Caitlin Clark or Paige Buchers, all right, thank you. I guess we'll see you next week, honey. Honestly, I think I would, and we're talking total game, not just shooting the ball, right? Not just drawing in the crowd and all that, because Caitlin Clark shooting the ball and drawing in the crowd all day long, but a total full game that's going to give you every piece of it. I'm going with Paige too. Like, I really am.
I think you have to go with Caitlin Clark to build an WNBA franchise.
And now, if you want to fill seats, yes. If you, because she's going to make these circus shots and all that. But I don't think even you in your heart of hearts thinks Caitlin Clark is a better complete player than Paige.
I'm not saying she's a better player. She's a better franchise piece.
Well, I mean,
because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it's about selling tickets and putting butts in the seat and turning a profit.
Correct. Yeah, and I said outside of that, I would take Paige. But
Caitlin Clark is going to be the one to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, look at the class that Caitlin is in. And, her, Angel Reese, and, like, the other players of college that are going into the WNBA draft. I mean, the women's college basketball national championship had more viewers than the men's.
By 5 million.
Yes.
Well, part of that was one was played in the middle of the afternoon on a Sunday where everybody could watch.
That's
and the
true.
other one was played at 9:00 at night.
On the East Coast, mind you. But yes, also true. Also true. But I mean, think of what it's going to be like going into the WNBA draft with the class that we have going into this draft. I mean, the viewership is going to be insane.
So Indiana is going to be on TV all but 4 of their games next year already, and Caitlin Clark hasn't even been drafted yet. But everybody knows Caitlin Clark's going number 1, right? Yeah. The Las Vegas Aces have already upped their stadium from 12,000 to the AT&T 18,000 because of all the people that are going to show up. And while people would just not go watch, so one of the big reasons that Indiana is going to be so good, Chris, is Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston are going to be on the same team. That is a dangerous ass team right there. Like, they are going to be good, like super good. So, I mean, if we get the Aces and Indiana in a series, man, that shit's going to be classic.
You already know the viewership is going to be through the. There's going to be more viewers tuning into that one game than probably all 7 games of this year's NBA Finals.
I agree. If it comes down to the Aces in Indiana, yeah. You got Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark versus Asia Wilson and the defending champions. Shit. Yeah, man. Everybody's going to be jumping on board for that.
I would tune into the WNBA. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, me too. I do already tune into it, but I would continue.
So while we're on the topic of Caitlin Clark, do you want to show the video of what Dawn Staley had to say about her?
Oh, yeah, we can do that, and then we'll wrap up because we're hitting our 2-hour mark. We'll do final thoughts right after this. Let's listen to Miss Dawn Staley.
I really would just like to say that I have to congratulate Iowa on an incredible season. Awesome. And I want to personally thank Caitlin Clark for lifting up our sport. She carried a heavy load for our sport, and it just is not going to stop here on the collegiate tour. But when she is the #1 pick in the WNBA draft, she's gonna lift that league up as well. So Caitlin Clark, if you're out there, you are one of the GOATs of our games. That we appreciate you.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
That's respect.
That is respect. I mean, here's the crazy thing, too. I believe it was 10 years ago.
So you're going to get class with Dawn Staley.
Yeah. I think it was like 10 years ago that UConn coach Gino Auriemma said, like, look, I mean, I'm going to put it in a cocky way, but he put it in the classiest way possible. Like, look, if you hate our dominance, just get better. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing other schools get better and actually beating UConn when they were so dominant for so long.
And a large part of that is South Carolina, because like South Carolina and UConn, and Chris will attest because he watched his women's basketball like I did. Yeah, Donna's ago. Like those matchups since 2015 is really when it started, when South Carolina started getting really good between UConn and South Carolina. Classics, man, just all-time college classics. Like UConn would win and South Carolina, and they play each other twice a year every year. You can go ahead and bank on that shit almost. And like they play every single year in the regular season. They schedule each other. Because when Dawn and Gino had their joint press conference preseason 2017, I believe it was, they're like, we want to play the best, and we are the best. So they play each other every single year, and it's like Alabama and Clemson was for those years. Like that's how UConn and South Carolina is to the women's game right now. And then every once in a while you'll sneak into LSU or somebody,
right,
or Mississippi,
or even a Baylor,
right?
It's South Carolina, UConn now is what Tennessee and UConn was 15 years ago.
Ooh,
correct.
Yeah,
that is a fact. That is the new big rivalry. But with that being said, George is going to start beating our door down in a minute. So let's get our final thoughts up here. We'll start with you, James.
So final thoughts. I mean, really, I'm not surprised that UConn went back to back in the with national championships. I mean, like they let Zach Edey basically do his thing, and then as soon as he started to tire, they were just all over him, and it showed. But I mean, why bet on Purdue at this point? You know, when it comes to the NCAA tournament, it's mind-boggling to me. But we will be discussing more college basketball on my show tomorrow. It is the most uncut, unfiltered, and uncensored show you will find on YouTube. And when it's all said and done, at the end of the episode, you will know whose game it is, with everybody saying, "No Mercy Sports."
Thank you, James. Chris, final thoughts.
So final thoughts. I am proud to be a member of the Football Writers Association of America. I'm proud to be a member of the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association of America. None of that is possible for me if I'm not a member of College Football Dogs and the Dog Media Group. Now, let me say, if you want good sports information, College Football Dogs is it. We're not here for the clickbait. We're not here for creating agendas like so many sports reporters are doing today, and was evident this weekend beyond reality. We're here to report sports. We're here to talk about sports on our podcast, be it College Sports Villains, the Golden Boot Podcast, a myriad of programming that you can pick with Dogs Media Network. Jump on board if you haven't already. Go follow us at College Football Dogs. Go follow us at the Golden Boot. Go like College Sports Villains. Jump in before it's too late. And back to you, Andrew.
Yes, and also go like No Mercy Sports. Thank you guys so much.
I apologize. I forgot.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for watching the show. It was phenomenal. I had a great time. Look up here, Gamecocks. They are your 2024 Women's National Champions. That's just how I want to end the show. Don Staley is the GOAT. And as always, John 3:16.
College Football Dogs. By the fans, for the fans. You win,